Imagine walking into a job interview and realising the candidate you're about to hire already works for your three biggest competitors. At the same time, they think the same way, they act the same way for everyone. That's how generic platform native agents start out. By platform native agents, I mean agents built by the platform provider and delivered as part of the core product. Platform native agents aren't dumb or static, they do learn. Modern platform agents can ground themselves in your data, respond to supervised fine-tuning, improve through human-in-the-loop feedback, and adapt over time. They do learn and they do get better, but teams make a subtle mistake. They confuse adaptation with differentiation, and that's not the same thing. To explain why, let's look at the agent value matrix. First up, the plumbing. Clean data, standard workflows, processes every business has, financial close, CRM hygiene, sales admin. There's no advantage here, and that's fine. This is buy and standardized territory, optimized for cost, stability, and reliability. If you use agents here, they should execute and not judge. Now to the red tape policy heavy compliance area, HR rules, security approvals, risk checks, high context and low value. This is where tune and deploy makes sense. First-party agents fit here well. They apply rules and they don't invent them. Now moving over to the black box, intuition, messy, tribal knowledge, undocumented decisions, knowledge that lives in Carol or Bob's head. This is unwritten logic. It's not in the manual, it's the instinct a veteran engineer uses to fix a machine by listening to the hum. You can't automate what you haven't defined. If you deploy agents here too early, you don't get intelligence. You scale ambiguity and risk. And finally, moving to the moat. This is the critical part of your business, your secret sauce or unique IP, pricing, prioritization, customer treatment, trade-offs. This is why you exist as a business. If this converges with your competitors, well, you're in trouble. Here's a step most teams skip. Before agents, you must decide what kind of process you're capturing. Plumbing is about steps, red tape is about rules, black boxes are about behaviour, and moats are about judgment. Each one needs to be captured differently. Treat them the same and you either waste effort or hard code the wrong decisions. And once you capture judgment, you face the real question: who owns it? Now, we've been here before. Cast your mind back to the early 2000s and ERP rollouts. These were the projects I was working on then, and the narrative was, we don't need to understand your business, change your business to fit the software. Efficiency improved, compliance improved, visibility improved, but differentiation quietly disappeared. Now, ERP didn't kill businesses, but it capped process-led advantage. Agents risk repeating the same mistake, this time at the level of decision-making. So let's catch up with our old friend, Stickman Sam. Sam's hired as operations director, and like any modern hire, Sam brings with him his digital workforce. At his last company, he used a platform agent from a major vendor. Planning, prioritization, exception management. He does the same thing in your business. The agent is grounded in your data, and Sam supervises it. Humans stay in the loop. Over time, it genuinely improves. So far, so good. Sam looks like a hero. But here's the problem. The agent Sam brought isn't really yours. It's shaped by vendor-defined objectives, workflows, safety rules, and upgrade cycles. And it behaves the same way it behaved everywhere else, including your competitors. Three pressures teams underestimate. First, economic lock-in. Once an agent sits inside your decision loop, pricing shifts. You're no longer paying for software, you're paying for decisions, risk reduction, and outcomes. ERPs lock processes, agents lock unit economics. Boards notice this quickly. Second is accountability. When agents are vendor supplied, continuously updated, learning from humans and acting autonomously, simple questions get hard. Who approved the logic? Which version made the call? Because the vendor updated it is not really a defense. You can outsource capability, but you can't outsource accountability. And third, strategy and shock. Platform agents optimize well, but they don't handle disruption well. When markets shift or crises hit, they fall back to conservative vendor-defined defaults. If everyone runs the same agents, everyone reacts the same way, exactly when differentiation matters. ERP hid convergence in normal times. Crises, as we know from pandemics and tariffs, exposed it. Agents would do the same, but with decisions. To bring it all together, once you start capturing process and digitizing the business, you inevitably hit a wall, the buy versus build wall. On one side, you have vendor land, packaged software, platform agents, fast time to value. For plumbing and red tape, this is the right place to be. You buy, you deploy, you move on. On the other side, you have builder land, slower, harder, more deliberate. This is where you encode judgment, trade-offs, business logic, and your competitive advantage. This is where your systems of intelligence live, and this is where build matters. The mistake is thinking buy versus build is a one-off decision. It isn't. Vendors don't stay still. They start in plumbing, then move to red tape. Then they creep. More autonomy, more decisions, more embedded economics. And that's vendor creep. And it rarely feels dramatic. It just happens over time. This is why digitization paths matter. Digitization isn't just about automation. It's about making process explicit, steps, rules, behavior, and judgment. Once you've captured those properly, you can make an intentional choice. Buy where convergence is acceptable, but build where judgment defines value. And that's the line. Automation can be standard. Learning can be local, but judgment must be owned. Use vendors where it's safe. Build where it matters to differentiate. Because if you don't decide where the wall is, vendor creep will decide for you. And by then, it's usually too late. Because when decision making converges, execution converges. And when execution converges, competitive advantage disappears. That's the line leaders need to draw deliberately before the agent draws it for them. And if your agents are the same as your competitors, don't be surprised if your outcomes are too.